That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity, February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PVA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome in. Happy Sunday. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, you guys can join in to start off our Sunday shows here. 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. You can put a face to the voice. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961 if you got Allo Cable. We got the host, Mike and Sherry, as well as a great guest in here today as well. Without further ado, I'll throw it over to the host and let them introduce the guest.
Morning, Nebraska, on this wonderful, snowy, freezing cold day. And happy Valentine's Day, Harrison.
Appreciate it.
Hope you had a good one, bud. You're tuned into 93.7 The Ticket FM this morning, and this is What's Next. I'm Sherry, along with Mike, and of course, Harrison. And today we're all about discovering happiness, creating joy, and building a lasting legacy. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to share another incredible life story and start out our Sunday with positivity and inspiration. I just want to say real quick, Mike, we've had a couple guests that have been authors on our show the past few weeks.
Yeah, we've had some great books.
And in that vein, I just want to hawk our book a little bit because we haven't talked about our book in a while. And as y'all know, Mike and I, We've written the book. Next 24, discover happiness, enjoying your life while you create a legacy. You can get this book here in Lincoln at Barnes & Noble at South Point. You can also get it on Amazon if you're not here in Lincoln or around in the surrounding areas. So get it. I guarantee you won't regret it. Mike, would you like to introduce our special guest this morning?
Well, I sure would. And today we have the pleasure of introducing a special guest who embodies the essence of meaningful conversations, culinary artistry, and the magic of turning dreams into reality, and an author of books. Our guest today is Kevin Shinn, a chef, a gardener, and a passionate advocate for important conversations. Kevin's journey is defined by 3 core pursuits that energize and inspire him: having important conversations, setting the table, and seeing ideas become reality. Kevin believes that the key meaningful conversations lies in asking the question and truly listening. This is simple yet powerful approach has led him to countless discussions that matter, creating connections and fostering understanding. Kevin, welcome. Glad you're on the show today.
Thanks, Mike. Great to be here.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's so much. I've enjoyed reading your material, looking at the website and things that you're doing. Let's jump in. You're not from Nebraska, are you?
No, and I don't see an OU helmet out here, so.
Yes, no.
Never will.
Yeah. No, let's jump in early. Kevin, tell us about the early years growing up in Oklahoma, in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Bartlesville. You either worked for Phillips or Walmart, and my dad worked for the former. I lived in Oklahoma. I lived in Bartlesville for 18 years until I went to college. Went to the University of Oklahoma and in the Barry Switzer years and saw a national championship. So as the song goes, I am Sooner born and Sooner bred.
Yes.
But when I moved here in 1990 and met so many great Husker fans, they knew as much, if not more, about Oklahoma football than I did.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good respect between those 2 schools and the teams. But I noticed that your degree, you went into exercise science.
Correct. That's where I started. I had an interest in fitness, and I was a runner, and but still trying to search out for what am I going to do.
Yeah.
I thought all my friends are going into engineering and mathematics, and I don't math good.
Mm-hmm.
So I went the direction that made sense to me, and that was fitness.
Well, share us a little bit about your family, your mom and dad, family. Tell us a little more about the background.
Yeah, mom and dad were children of the Depression.
Mm-hmm.
So they were of the era that you did not throw anything away,
Mm-hmm.
and you used everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they were also, my mom was of the era you cooked everything to death because it might be unsafe. And so I was probably 17 years old when I realized I could have a steak less than well done.
Yeah. Well, tell me, who were some of the influences when you were growing up? What were your hobbies? What kind of led you down the path?
I grew up out in the country. Grew up 15 miles from my school and equal distant from any school friends. So I spent a lot of time alone as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So end of the era where there was no television, no cable, no games, and so I had to figure out how to entertain myself.
Oh, wow.
So skateboarding became my thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. That's a lot of fun. I've heard people talk about that too, that in those days you entertained yourself and found activities and things like that.
Yeah. So skateboarders were my kind of role models and my icons.
Oh, you're skateboarders.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk, Tony Alva, Stacy Peralta, Jay Adams. I could list them all, and I got a stack of old skateboarder magazines.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
Did you collect skateboards?
I did, but I kept one, and it's an old Dogtown. They called it a pig, but it's a 10-inch wide board, and it's heavy.
Oh,
kids' boards today are so light.
Did it have the metal wheels? I remember my brother had one, and it was metal wheels.
No, these were the polyurethane wheels. They were kryptonite wheels for those who might know what that word means or know what that brand means.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was never very good on a skateboard. It must take a lot of balance, a lot of skill. How good did we get, Kevin?
Well, I had a quarter pipe in my driveway that I built. And I'm look back and am amazed at some of the things my dad just let me do. Here's the power tools. Here's the saws and the drills. So I made this really cool, about 8-foot tall quarter pipe in my driveway, and I spent hours out there going up to the top and getting a little air off of it, crashing several times.
Wow.
But
Harrison, were you a skateboarder generation?
No, I got like an ollie once. I think it might have been the highlight of it.
Oh, my stuff too. I was always so envious. That's why I bring this up. I could not do it very well. What's it take to be a good skateboarder?
Learning and knowing how to fall. Seriously.
Oh no, I agree.
Knowing how to fall, knowing not to put your hands straight out, knowing to pull your hands in actually, and then roll with it. And so you roll and tumble rather than plant your hands and break your wrists and snap your elbows.
Yeah, knock your shoulders out of joint.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you grew up in a small town area.
Very small. Yeah.
What was your education like? Small schools?
Small school. Went to a consolidated school district. Where I grew up was oil towns.
Oh,
so that was in the oil boom of the turn of the century, and lots. About every 10 miles, there was a little town and a school because there were so many oil workers. Well, when that started to dry up, so did the economy, and so did the communities, and so these little schools started to consolidate. And I went to elementary school that was, I think that maybe there were 50 in our school, maybe 7 in my class.
Wow!
So really, really small. And then that school closed. And then I moved to another consolidated school.
Was there any interest to get into the oil business? I'm sure
My dad worked for Phillips, but he was he was a white collar. He worked in payroll, and he watched computers change. So he came back from the Korean War, started his career at Phillips, and learned key punch cards. Remember those?
Oh, absolutely, sure do.
Technology. And so he knew that technology. So that got him a job, and then he just advanced with magnetic tape, and then microprocessors, and then these huge rooms of computers shrank down to about the size of a closet.
Wow!
So he watched things advance, and so when I was a freshman in college, he said, "Son, computers are the way to go, and I'm going to buy you a computer." And it was a Commodore 64. Yeah, and I remember it was $600, and I just bought a new Mac for just a little more than that.
Wow!
But I was the coolest kid in college, and my dorm, because like nobody had ever heard of a word processor. Everybody just did it on a typewriter.
Oh, yeah.
So there was always a line. Hey, Shinn, can I use your computer? Can I use your word processor? So that made me very popular.
Well, share us the journey. When did it plant the seed in your mind that you wanted to go to the University of Oklahoma?
My sister, she was an alumni. She was a nurse, and so that gave me thought maybe some kind of healthcare, some kind of field like that. I just wasn't book smart. I didn't test very well, and I was basically a C student. I didn't think I had the ability to do pre-med, but then when I realized there's a degree outside of physical education as to become a PE teacher, that there was an opening industry and degree that took you toward the direction of sports medicine, sports fitness training, and that captured my attention.
Were you thinking of teaching? Were you going to be a teacher?
No, I
or what
didn't.
was your...
That's what I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to coach. I wanted to do more personal training.
Oh, very good.
So
that's in the early years too. Really, that's when
it was that that industry was just opening up. We had no idea about nutrition and sports medicine and training techniques.
Yeah.
So when my first job out of college was as a YMCA director.
Very good.
So it was a good fit for me. I loved the fact that, wow, I got to do all of this and get paid for it. It was also in the era where my degree got me my job.
Yes, absolutely, it did.
And times have changed since.
Well, you've had a fabulous career, and we'll go through it as quickly as we can. But it's just your resume is just it's so fun to read. It's just so fun. Tell us, you go into this, you're at the YMCA. Where was your next step?
Well, my faith was young and burgeoning, and learning new things, and becoming very personal. And I thought, now's a good time to explore that. And I got an opportunity to go to seminary in California. I thought, I'm young, I'm single, I'm out of debt. This would be a good time to make a mistake.
I love this part because you're doing it young, and a lot of people, you're exploring. I love this. This is what we try to talk about in our book too, about the idea of exploring your heart, your mind, your dreams.
Right.
Share a little bit more about it. So
yeah,
how did that trigger?
Well, the thought process was, I was 23 at the time. I thought probably easier to make a mistake at 23 than 43. And so I just decided, I'm going to do this. I had shrunk all my possessions down to fitting in the back of my little Ford Ranger pickup that didn't have air conditioning. And I drove that little 4-cylinder all the way out to California, and it made it. And that's where my world moved outside of the Bible Belt. It moved into a realm of international influence. The school that I went to, Caucasians were in the minority.
What school did you go to?
It was called Golden Gate Seminary. Okay. And the highest percentage were Koreans. And so often people hear my name, Shinn, and they thought I was Korean, and they'd meet me and like, no, you're white. And but it just opened my eyes to the world. And then it led to new opportunities to travel, and then meet my wife of nearly 30 years as of 5 years ago. So that's how it.
So you went out there. You didn't meet Karen at that time,
right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're out there going. You know, it's funny when you say that. I had loaded up. I had a little Nissan, and when I got out of teaching, I moved to Chicago. Strapped the U-Haul. I had no idea how long it took to drive. Did you? When you got on that road and you realized how far California was from Oklahoma?
It was days, literally days. And I didn't have air conditioning. And yes. someone said, when you get to Arizona, stop and drive at night. And that was a good idea because it was just blistering hot.
Well, that's fantastic. I love the idea of exploring so young at the time. What year would this have been?
That would have been 87.
Oh yeah.
87 to 90.
Yep.
And those were fantastic formative years for me.
What did seminary do for you? Share this a little bit. What type? This is a different type of education, type of learning.
And I write about it in chapter 1 of my book. Seminary isn't for everyone. And I had a very understanding, kind dean of students. And he said in the very first lecture, my very first class, introduction of seminary, he said, many of you won't last this semester, and that's okay. Because the faith that you come in with is not ready to be subjected to the rigor of academic pursuit. He said most of the students come in with a devotional understanding of faith. And that's very, very different, because academia challenges your faith on a whole different level. And for me, that helped my faith thrive. For others,
theology and faith are two different things.
Yeah. And faith is action. Theology is thought, and it can move to action. But
Kevin, what was your going out there to California? What was your dream? What was your goal in your mind at that point? What did you want to do?
I really wanted to see the world. I thought I would be a career missionary. I thought I would move to another country, plant myself, explore cross-cultural experiences. That's what I really thought I would do. But I met my wife. She's from California. We thought, oh, maybe we'll stay here. But cost of living even then was incredibly out of reach. So we thought, well, let's move to Nebraska. Maybe we'll be here 2 or 3 years, and then we'll go launched our adventure. And now 35 years later, I'm still here.
Well, before we get to Karen, because I'd like to honor her today as well, but share a little bit about the ministry, because I find it unique with you. You'd mentioned you go on this. Did you pastor a church?
No, I was with a collegiate level ministry. It was connected to the Southern Baptist Convention, and we were always connected to a local church, but our presence was on campus, and that's where that's where my faith began to blossom, and so that's where I was naturally drawn to.
So were you working with students or athletics?
Students.
Oh, very good.
Right.
Well, that has to be an enjoyable time, a fun time.
It was fantastic when you're 26.
Yeah.
And then they're 18 to 22 years old. And then you get to 30 and they're 18 to 22 years old. And then you get to 35 and they're 18. So you're the one that gets older.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are staying the same.
Well, I'd like you to share the story, because I think what you had mentioned, a lot of people go through when they jump into a dream and a career, then they become a little unhappy and disillusioned. You touched on this.
Right.
Would you share some of this?
Yeah. So 87 to 90 was my seminary education. Moved here to Lincoln in 1990 and found this kind of split. I love what I'm doing, but something didn't feel right. And I did not know what that was until about 4 years in. And I wrote it down. And I tell some of these stories in my book. I wrote it down in my journal. Why are my best conversations with people in places of hospitality where there is food, alcohol, and music? And I wrote that in my journal, and I still have that page. And that got me started thinking, maybe I am not wired up to do ministry within the context of the churches we know it. And maybe I belong outside of it. And so that got me thinking for about 7 years about opening a restaurant. I have no experience, no culinary degree, never been a chef, but I had a just urge to create a place of hospitality. And that led to 2001, where, okay, am I going to take this seriously? Because 9/11 had happened. And that was an implosion to my sense of faith. And I thought, I'm the paid guy people are looking to me for the answers. I don't have answers, and yet I'm getting a paycheck. And I did not like that dissonance. And so it took another couple of years to say, let's do something.
Well, what I like about what you and I experienced something similar, where I had to just say, stop for a moment, stop, and pull myself back and reflect and look back at my life and question some things of where path do I actually want to go on. This sounds like what you experienced.
Very much so. And
yeah,
and I'm on a new iteration of that in the last 5 years as well.
Well, let's share the story about how you met Karen and how she played a pivotal role in your life. It is a love story.
Right. We met in California. She was a California girl. We met through mutual friends, and common values, common sense of faith, and fell in love and got married in 1990. And we thought California would be maybe our eventual home. She's from there, but we moved here, and then kids come along. And so kids change everything, right? They change your whole sense of value. And we realized Lincoln's a great community. We have great schools here. It's affordable to live. And so we just kind of stayed on. And she then wasn't directly involved in the ministry, much more in taking care of our kids. We wanted, as long as we could, to have have a stay-at-home parent with the kids. And once then the kids got old enough, she began to substitute teach and explore that part of her interest. But
let's take a moment and talk about Karen. You've had many years with her, but unfortunately, she became ill.
Yes, they say when you get married, part of the vow is "till death do us part." Well, it did. You're not really thinking about that on your wedding day, that will death part us.
Or in sickness and in health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in May of 2010. And our lives just changed immediately.
Was it an, and I use this term so loosely. Was it just did she go in for a routine checkup and it was just discovered? I don't want to say accidentally, but
Well,
sometimes it
inadvertent.
is.
Yeah. She went in for her annual OBGYN exam, and he's doing the test and he pokes something and she goes, "Oh." I said, "Oh, is that tender?"
Oh.
And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, there's something there." Well, then he orders an ultrasound, and yeah, there's something there that's very large. And then 3 days later, she's in surgery.
Right.
And then 3 days later, we find out
Get
our
the
life
diagnosis.
has just changed.
How did she, I mean, and once again, I worked in oncology, cancer, the majority of my career. And I've seen so many reactions to serious diagnoses like this. I'm sure the initial reaction was shock,
Very much.
fear, anger. How did you two decide that you were going to go forward from this diagnosis? Because unfortunately, a lot of not just cancer, but a lot of very bad diagnoses can easily define a couple, can easily define a person. And it's such a fine line of being able to say, I'm not defined by this illness.
Right.
This is not going to take over my life.
I have a great story for that.
Lay it on us.
We were sitting with her oncologist after all the dust had settled and the pathology came back. Sure enough, it's at stage 2C ovarian cancer. And you're feeling the panic. And she asked, "Well, doctor, how much longer do I have to live?" And the wisdom of this oncologist said, in some ways, that's up to you. Because he said, what I would recommend is stay off the internet. Because there's data out there. And there are numbers out there and there are statistics that show a general pattern, but they're not your numbers yet.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And it was so she latched onto that and she said that these are not my numbers.
Yep.
And so a disease that takes a woman down statistically in about 18 months took her 9.5 years.
And we're going to have to take a break in a minute. I'm just going to throw this in there, but that is the whole defining moment. I had a daughter that was diagnosed with no treatment, no cure. Eventually she's going to die from it. Diagnosis. They handed me a stack of papers like this, listing all the horrible things. I can remember sitting in Children's Hospital lobby after we left for that appointment, looking at it and said, no, ripping it in half and throwing it in the trash. Yeah. This is not going to define my daughter.
No,
we got to take a break here real quick, but we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this.
Thanks, Kevin, for sharing that.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln or their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier dealership, stocking top brands such as Can-Am, Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycles, Sea-Doo, Manitou pontoon boats, and Triton trailers. Come check out Nebraska's newest Indian motorcycle dealership and ring in the new year the right way on an Indian motorcycle. Save big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft to ring in the new year at their new 27th and I-80 location.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com. Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shinn Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome back in. What's Next 24? Harrison runs on the ones and twos. As always, we got some text here. And again, you guys can always join in 402-464-5685 as well as through the streams. Shout out to Crypto King on YouTube. It says, very nice show, and also says, rest in peace, Greg Sharp. Obviously, that news broke over the weekend. We got another unknown texter here saying as well, rest in peace, Greg Sharp, and then appreciate for sharing your story. Cancer sucks. So, for anyone who wants to chime in, feel free to. We'll read those here on air. With that being said, we'll go and throw it back over to the host, Mike and Sherry.
And absolutely, Harrison, with that listener texting, cancer does suck. And there's no other way to say it. It sucks. And we were just talking with Kevin about his wife's battle with cancer and how it affected them. In our book, I talk a little bit about things I observed as a medical assistant in a cancer clinic and my patients. And this is what I wanted to ask you about, Kevin. I had patients that when they got that diagnosis, they did one of two things.
Mm-hmm.
They either sucked into the fear and the depression and decided my life was over, even though some of them could have had good outcomes. And then I had other patients that were like, this isn't going to define me. I'm going to embrace life no matter how much life I still have. You could walk out on the street with cancer, get hit by a car, and that's it. And the ones that had that mindset of, I'm still alive. I still have a life to live. Those are the ones that did amazing with their treatment, that did amazing with moving on and having that extra time, so to speak. The ones that got sucked in, they went just like that. And some of them shouldn't have gone that fast, but it was the way they thought about it and then the way they acted on it. Now, can you give us just really quick how Karen herself, but you as a couple dealt with that?
She had two, I would say, extreme reactions. The first one in 2010 was, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat this. And you just tell me what to do and tell me where to show up. And I'm going to do everything I can. She was very strong-willed, very stubborn, very athletic, very independent. And so she took that mindset into her treatment. She would ride her, we lived out at 48th and O area. She would ride her bike to St. E's.
Oh, bless her heart.
Get her radiation treatment, ride her bike down to the Haymarket, go to work. And I think it was that sense of, hey, I don't have time for this. I got to get to work.
Yep.
And I think it was that sense of focus that gave her that initial push to say, I'm going to beat this. Tragically, though, when it came back on the second diagnosis, she went the other direction. Got depressed, got discouraged. Like, I don't think I can beat this. And that's when it started to really take the toll on the marriage, because it was her choice, and she, I think, realized, I can't beat this. And even though she did beat it for another 6 years, a third of our marriage was cancer. And that's going to take its toll on anybody.
Absolutely. And especially the part where at that point you probably had to, or maybe even a little bit later, but you had to step in as a caregiver. And I'm going to tell you from experience, that is one of the hardest jobs that you could ever be thrown into.
Yes.
Nothing can prepare you for that.
Right. Well, the third diagnosis in 2018 and the grave reality that this is inoperable, this is inevitable. So we actually employed the service of hospice early on. And I would say to anyone who is contemplating hospice, always act earlier than later, because in many cases it's too late. And she was in hospice for 8 months. And so I'm her direct caregiver because I had lost my job. And I'm thinking, who's going to hire a guy who might need some time off to take care of his wife? So I just decided I'm going to see this out to the end, and became her direct caregiver. And that's when I started writing the book. And so this first book that I wrote was the distraction that I needed to get me through the highs and lows of hospice, because she would tank and her body would become septic and riddled with infection. And we're thinking, is this it?
And pain.
And no, this is not it. And then she rallies back for another month or two. And then, well, this is okay. And then plummets. And so there was just so many highs and lows for me that writing gave me a great distraction to put that kind of to the side.
And as a caregiver, you can't make it about you.
No. No.
You can't make it about you. It's a lonely place to be.
Yes.
Kevin, before we switch gears, what was your final feeling about in terms of what do you recommend to people, families, couples who are dealing with this, both for the husband and the wife? What's your recommendation?
I would say if you can be as honest as possible. Denial is such a destructive mindset. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll get through it. There's a level of that of drive and determination, but on the other side of that coin is honesty.
Yep.
Yeah. And being able to say, this really stinks.
Well, let's due to time, let's switch gears. And of course, we want to honor how Karen lived, not just how she passed. And that's why I want to pivot. I think she planted the seed with you together. Show us the book, Bread and Cup, Beyond Simple Food and Drink. Was this your first one?
This was the first book. And the interesting, can we see that? The interesting thing about this book is it was mostly written already. When I started planning the restaurant in 2005, that it took about 2 years to get the restaurant planned and open. So between 05 and 07 was when I started writing. They called it a web blog or a web log back then. It wasn't sophisticated or developed. People just putting their thoughts out on the internet. Someone said, well, you should do that. You should start a weblog. And so I started chronicling the journey because I wanted something for me to be able to look back and what in the world was I thinking leaving my stable career to enter into a field I don't know anything about.
Well, it's a beautiful book. Tell us the name. Now, if people may not remember, let's remind people, you had a restaurant down in the Haymarket called Bread and Cup.
Right.
And share a little bit about that.
Yeah. People often think it's a reference to the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper. Actually, it's not. We wanted a representation of the simplest of food and the simplest of drink. And you look in almost any culture, there's always a bread element to it. Tortillas, French bread, French baguettes, chapati, pita bread, and it's always a food that utilizes indigenous or local ingredients that are easily accessible and easily taught to generations beyond. And so bread, in my estimation, was the simplest food that we know, but it's profound. Who doesn't like bread?
And right now, everybody seems to be on making sourdough. Now everybody's on a sourdough kick right now.
I did my part to contribute to that trend.
Kevin, due to time, let's switch to your second book then.
Sure. Okay. So this second book is called Use Fewer Words, and it's a book of poetry. And after my wife passed, I started traveling. That's how I dealt with my grief, because the four walls of the house tell the same old story. And I wanted to get out on the open road and learn and hear new stories. Ended up in Ireland, of all places. And if you remember, March of 20, a little worldwide incident happened called the COVID pandemic. I had to leave Ireland 4 days early just to get back to the US. But through that experience, I began to write little poems and just little thoughts and posting them on my Instagram page. So more people than my mom were reading it and said, these are really good. And so the woman who helped me write, who helped edit the Bread and Cup book, she said, do you have all these saved? And I said, yeah. She said, could I see them? So I took her a ream of 575 pages. It was in a little box. I said, here they are. She said, oh my, can I sit with these for a while? So she went through all of them. And we got back 2 weeks later for coffee, and she handed me that stack that was collated into 13 piles. each with a yellow sticky note attached to a with a paper clip. And she said, "Here's what you've been doing." And each of those yellow sticky notes had one word on it: loss, grief, cancer, anger, beauty, joy, tears. And she said, "This is what you've been doing." And she said, "Kevin, writing is how you process your grief." And I think you've got another book here.
Oh, it's an awesome book. Let's go to the third book.
All right.
This one's I find interesting too.
This one.
This is your latest book, correct?
This is the latest one. Came out January 21st. It is a completely different work. The other two books were basically written. You know, I'm compiling things that I had already written. This was brand new because it came out of 20 years of thought about faith that I have morphed and changed and evolved from the time I left the ministry in 2005 to this year when I printed this or published this book. I described my faith journey as having to leave the ministry in order to find my faith again. And I did that. I found a lot of hardship, found a lot of difficulty, found a lot of challenges, but I found a new expression of my faith outside of the ministry, because now I don't have a church to prop up. I don't have a ministry to sell. I can just be me, Kevin, Chef Kevin, who writes about faith.
Religion, relationship.
Right.
Kevin, tell people where they can find these books. These are great, wonderful books. I've looked at these. These are great books you can find on your website.
Right.
Share your website.
My website is 55degrees.us. And that's my moniker. 55 degrees is considered cellar temperature.
Yeah, share that story. As you told me, I had no idea what this meant.
Yeah, people often wonder, what's the 55 degrees publishing here? 55 degrees is considered cellar temperature. You dig down into the ground far enough, and you will find the year-round ambient temperature at 55 degrees. So you can put that's the temperature in which you put good things to rest and become better things, like red wine. You take a bottle of red wine that's good, put it in 55 degrees, dark, cold, damp, and let it rest there and pull it out in a few years. And like, oh my, that has changed.
Is that what they do for I'm probably wrong on this, but is it bok choy that they bury like that?
Kimchi.
Kimchi, that's it.
It's all fermented.
Wow.
And so fermentation is a magical, I always like to think of it as magic. There's a scientific explanation for it. But you put something in a cool environment of 55 degrees, that's where something changes and improves. And I wanted to use that as the kind of my moniker of my life change, of how things shifted for me. And I've been in the dark for quite a while, and I think a little bit of me is pulling.
You're pulling it out.
Yeah.
With that, we need to take a break, and we're going to shift and hear more about what he's currently doing. We'll be right back with Kevin in just a few minutes.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier dealership, stocking top brands such as Can-Am, Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycles, Sea-Doo, Manitou pontoon boats, and Triton trailers. Come check out Nebraska's newest Indian motorcycle dealership and ring in the new year the right way on an Indian motorcycle. Save big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft to ring in the new year at their new 27th and I-80 location.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Attention! For the entire month of February, Acres has John Deere packaged oil and filters for 15% off. John Deere engineers its oil filters specifically for large ag equipment and commercial and residential mowers. With premium materials, these filters meet the unique demands of your farm and acreage. Following a strict maintenance routine with premium John Deere oil and filters ensures your equipment will run efficiently for years. Visit your local Acres store to start shopping today.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome back in. Wrapping things up here. Final segment, What's Next 24. The host is always Mike and Sherry, as well as today's guest, Kevin Shinn, joining us in studio. Only got a few minutes left here, so back to the host, Mike and Sherry.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. We're just doing our final segment with Kevin Shinn. I wanted to, again, mention he's got a great book out called A Different Metaphor, Faith That Imagines the Impossible by Kevin Shinn. You can get this on his website. It's a fantastic book that will help you rediscover your faith and hope and dreams moving forward in life. Kevin, tell us what you're doing today.
Yeah, well, my wife passed November of 19, and that began my new discovery of who am I now that I am not a husband any longer. And so went through a process of rediscovery, found a therapist that was very insightful to my story and could hear beyond what I was saying. And so that, coupled with travel to May of 20, some people who knew me from my restaurant days asked me if I would cook for them because it's their 25th anniversary and they were supposed to be in London, and that got canceled. And would I cook for them for that special occasion? And so I did. I made them a 5-course meal, paired it with 2 bottles of wine, but I boxed it up and I sent it over to their house. And they were elated and appreciative, paid me handsomely for it, took pictures, posted them, and the power of social media took over. The very next day, my phone starts buzzing. Kevin, we saw those pictures. Would you do that for us? It's our 35th anniversary next Tuesday. I said, well, sort of. Would you feel safe in my backyard? I don't want to box it up and send it to you. I want to create an experience, not a meal. They said, oh, yeah, we'd love that. And so I referred to them as customer zero. They were my very first backyard outdoor guests that led to 38 dinners that summer, all word of mouth, all via text.
All at your house.
All at my house. Because of the pandemic, everything shut down. Yeah. And I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't working. And thank goodness Lowe's and Home Depot were essential businesses. So I'm there 2 or 3 times a week, taking care of, painted my whole house, built, added to my fire pit. So I did a lot of things outdoors. So by May, middle of May, my yard was a Garden of Eden. And so it created a great backdrop for these small dining.
Oh, I've seen the pictures, by the way, of your backyard. I suggest you, they're on his website. Take a look.
And so that led to 38 dinners that I thought, well, that was fun. November 20 rolls around, and I'm not even thinking of next year. I start getting emails. Hey, Kevin, you taking reservations yet for the spring? I want to bring my mom there. I want to have my anniversary there. I want to have my birthday there. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, contact me in February. But I had a very persistent guest come 3 times that season. And he said, oh, Kevin, you've got a business opportunity. We should sit down and talk through what would it take to make this an upright business. And so we met January 21, and we talked through what we call our Holy Trinity: the Department of Revenue, the Liquor Commission, and the Health Department. Those were the 3 deities we had to satisfy, and we did. And so we have sales tax permit. We don't need a liquor license because it's private. It's in my home. I have a health department permit. I have an inspected kitchen, commercial kitchen. And so May 1st of 21 was my first official season of the Portico experience. And that led to 75 meals that summer, then led into 90 meals, and it has become my job.
Kevin, let me stop you there real quick, as we're getting close to running out of time. We've got about 2 minutes. If people are interested to contact you about exploring this and setting up a dinner, how do they go about it?
They need to email me. But the magic of this, because of the Liquor Commission, I don't need a liquor license because this is in the privacy of my home. And so I have to invite you into my home. And so to do that, you can reach me by email, and I can tell you all the details.
On your website, do you provide any type of menu? How do we go about, how's the process?
The menu is hyper seasonal. And I mean that because we grow a great big garden in the back. And so each day in the growing season, we'll pick directly out of the garden. What we do ask is, do you have any dietary restrictions, any gluten-free allergies? And then we base the menu upon what your parameters are. and you show up, and here's an 8-course menu based on that.
What kind of feedback are you getting?
Where has this been all my life?
Yes, that sounds so good.
Really quick, just and we are on such limited time. We say this every week, but you have rediscovered yourself. You've rediscovered an amazing career. Have you rediscovered a new relationship?
I have, and I met her through the restaurant. And the great thing is we hit it off immediately, and common values, common sense of faith, and we hit it off until we didn't. And so we needed to take a little break and reconnected about a year ago. And for those who are coming into second relationships, you'll understand that sometimes you're bringing in your baggage and you're not relating or reacting to the person. You're reacting to the baggage of the past.
So there is love after death.
There is. And it just takes that common sense of understanding of what are we working toward? Because if it's, continue to butt heads and you understand why, then you have something to get.
Kevin,
you can have something to get over.
Real quick, last question. I want to make sure we get this in. I'd like to open up the mic to you. You get the final word. You can say anything you'd like to share with the community. What would you like to say?
Sure. I would say, and I wrote about it today, depression is not addressed by discipline. I think often we feel like we just got to grind it out, got to do one more thing. And if you find yourself discouraged, if you find yourself in depression, if you find yourself in loss, you find yourself in grief, don't try to grind through it. Find a community or a voice of true comfort and understanding. And that found me, is the way I describe it, about 3 months after my loss. And I am all the better for it. And so that's the word I want to leave people, is there is hope.
There is hope.
There
I
is
love
hope.
that. Kevin, with that, thank you. Kevin Shinn, thank you so much. A different metaphor, faith that imagines the impossible is available. Thank you again. Sherry, you got a final quick word?
One quick word. I just want to tell the Sharp family that Mike and I are keeping you in our hearts and in our prayers. Don't give up. Continue his awesome legacy and celebrate him.
With that, thank you again. We'll see you next week. Thank you.